Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to the Force Feed for this Wednesday, January 25th. Today we will be discussing the rumored features of the next generation Xbox, those copycats at Zynga, THQ shuns the kids, GameStop closures, and no Blizzcon in 2012. Some rumors coming out of a report from Kotaku today list some of the features for the next generation Xbox console. It was stated in the report on Kotaku that the next generation of Xbox will include the new iteration of Kinect, the ability to play Blu-ray discs, and may not play used games. The rumor states that Microsoft may be installing an anti-used game system that will link a copy of a new game to your Xbox Live account, making it unplayable on other Xbox Live accounts. This would be pretty interesting if this is actually true and they do implement this on the next generation of Xbox. I fully expect to see the Blu-ray player as well as they connect with the next Xbox, but whether or not this new used game combating system will actually be in there, I'm not sure. Again, this is supposed to be one of those things that is meant to support the sale of new games as opposed to used games from places like Gamestop, and it would be interesting if Microsoft actually takes that step to help support the publishers and developers of these games and try to push GameStop out of the market. This is obviously going to be a big deal for you guys, so I want to know what you think if this were to be implemented, if there were a system that made it so that you cannot play used games on the next Xbox, what would you guys do? I have a feeling many people would just buy a PlayStation. It is fairly well known in the industry that while producing new games, sometimes a developer will take bits and pieces from other successful games to implement in their new title. But what about when a game directly copies another game, essentially a carbon copy? Well, that is reportedly what Zynga is doing right now. Zynga's upcoming Dream Heights apparently is a direct copy of Nimblebit's Tiny Tower. In fact, Nimblebit's Ian Marsh went as far as to tweet a photo showing a side-by-side comparison of their games and Zynga's Dream Heights. He sarcastically wished them good luck with their new title, thanked them for being big fans of their game, and stated that they hope they can inspire future Zynga games. Honestly, I found this pretty comical, and kudos to him. Taking a look at the pictures, it really looks like Zynga's Dream Heights is a carbon copy of Tiny Tower. How do you guys feel about this? Again, as I stated, you will take bits and pieces of games sometimes and implement them while producing new games. But to be this directly similar, it seems to really be blurring the line between what should be considered acceptable and what shouldn't. Let me know what you guys think about this below. THQ has come out and stated that they will be moving away from their production of kids games and will be renewing their focus on their core gaming franchises. These games are going to be including UFC, Darksiders, Company of Heroes, Insane, Saints Row, and Warhammer 40k. This new focus on their core gaming franchises and the fact that they're moving away from working on kids games is likely a result of their relatively poor performance as of late. Hopefully the company, with their new focus, can get back on track. GameStop announced their plans to close up their stores in Northern Ireland and Portuguese. Now, their plan to close up these stores is a result of their renewed focus on their digital business. They will be closing up their 13 stores in Portugal along with the 4 stores in the UK. Now, customers in those areas can visit the online stores at their regional GameStop website. GameStop stores are still being built in the region, however, they're being built in better performing markets such as Italy and France. And then lastly, and most disappointingly of all, I have to let you guys know that unfortunately Blizzcon 2012 will not be taking place. Yes, my heart breaks just saying it. Blizzard has announced that because of their focus on the 3 titles planned to launch this year, they will not be hosting BlizzCon in 2012, but they plan to continue doing so in 2013. And of course, we are looking at the launch of Diablo 3, StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm, and World of Warcraft Panda Something to all be coming out this year. 3 major titles certainly going to keep Blizzard quite busy. In addition to that, they are putting some focus on the 2012 Battle.net World Championship that will be taking place in Asia, and that is of course the StarCraft 2 Esports Championship. Maybe I'll be commentating, probably not. And lastly, of course, I will wrap up today with a question of the day. If you would like a question answered here in the Force Feed, please send it to theforcefeed@forcestrategygaming.com. Today's question comes from Simon, and he asks, do you think Blizzard canceling BlizzCon is a good idea? And will this speed up development on Diablo 3? I don't necessarily know that it'll speed up development. It's certainly going to give them a lot of extra time. I think that their focus on the Battle.net Championship is going to actually take up the time that would have otherwise been focused on BlizzCon. Hopefully they make it a big and exciting championship. I'm actually really excited to see what they have in store for it. As to whether or not it's a good idea, something to keep in mind is that BlizzCon isn't necessarily supposed to be once a year. I know over the past few years we have had a BlizzCon every year, but it wasn't always the case. In fact, there have been spans of a few years where BlizzCon just didn't take place. Blizzard has just been able to do this for the past few years simply because of their release schedule, I think. The fact that they're releasing 3 major titles this year in addition to the championship that's taking place at the end of the year, I can see why they feel like they're pretty booked and won't be hosting it. And again, there is going to be another BlizzCon in 2013. It's not like it's never going to be happening again. But yes, do keep in mind, if you do a little research, you will see that BlizzCon hasn't always historically been every year. Alright guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the Force Feed. As always, I thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. Stay tuned tomorrow for another episode, keeping you up to date on all the most recent gaming news and announcements. Once again, this has been Force, and you've just been force-fed.